This is the new Lego Mario Kart set, but the thing is, it's boring. So I'm gonna build this set and upgrade it with new parts and even Lego motors to make it remote control. I'll also be adding a bunch of cool new features to the car, so let's do this. So this set, like all other Lego Super Mario sets, use the Lego Mario character, which is dumb because you have to pay $50 extra for that. Of course I did, but that's besides the point. But yeah, let's open this set. We got 2 bags, stickers, and the glider piece. And I have a really cool idea for this that we'll get to when I actually upgrade it. Yo, what the? There's a piece of glue or something. But yeah, let's build this. All right, well, here's the set. It's pretty basic. It's just the cart and then this little side build that's, I think, supposed to be a pit stop. And then it comes with a little toad. The cart does have like one feature. You can launch these shells. So green shell can be launched and then red shells can also be shot. Hey, I hit the target. So like I mentioned earlier, this works with Lego Mario. So if I put him on here, it makes like a racing noise. He just makes noises as you move him around, basically. And then when you put him on this tile, it'll do like a pit stop. I'm gonna like fix up the car. But I can make this thing a lot better, so let's do it. So I'm gonna upgrade this thing to be fully motorized, which means we basically need to build this thing from the ground up so that it can actually drive. So let's do it. So this is a differential and real cars actually use this. If I throw a couple more gears in here, we can get it to actually work. So if I get this and then put it with a couple Lego axles, so if I twist this, you can see that both of the other axles move, but then if I stop one of these axles, then the other one still moves. But then if I stop both, then it doesn't move. This makes it way easier for the car to steer and go off-road. And so we're adding it to our Mario Kart. So I'm gonna build up this frame a little more and then we can work on the front steering. Okay, well, I got the chassis done. You can see that the motor is driving it back here, and then this is the servo motor that steers it. So I use these pieces, which are meant for steering. And so if I get the remote control right here, you can see that it turns. Then we can just attach wheels to the end of that and then it should work. So yeah, now that we got the basic electronics done, we can start building the rest of the car. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is figure out the wheels. So the obvious answer is to just use the Lego Mario Kart ones straight from the set. But the issue with these is that Lego actually made them completely hard plastic. So they don't even get any grip. So if we use these, it would just be like a drifting car and I don't even think it would move. So we gotta use other tires. And luckily I got a bunch of other tires. I'm gonna test this out real quick with these tires. I'm not sure if they'll work. They might be too small. Yeah, they're not gonna work. You can see that it sits too high, so the wheel just spins freely. So probably gonna have to move these wheels to the front. I think it's gonna be the only tire that's small enough that'll work up here. Okay, this is really ironic. These are even too low. I have these supports that come down and it still drags against the ground with these. At least I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna put the other wheel on just to test, but I think it still touches the ground. It doesn't, it barely doesn't. Okay, that's good, because I don't wanna have to use bigger wheels. So I got these tires, these bigger ones that kind of just look like bigger versions of these, and I think these should work really good for the back. Boom, we got a little car ready. And hopefully this works. Let's test it out real quick for fun. Let's see, it drives and then turns as well. Let's go. So actually, before we build anything else, I need to figure out where I'm gonna place this battery box in here. And I'm also gonna need 2 receivers with all the functions I'm adding, so we gotta put these somewhere. So let me put those on real quick. Okay, well, I got it all set up, so now I can actually have it turn and drive. Boom. So now that that's done, we can work on a really cool feature. So the glider is one of the parts that stands out really well on this build. So I wanted to make sure when I upgrade it that this comes along with it onto my upgraded one. And I have a really cool idea for it. So if I put this on here, then I can kind of show you the idea. So I made this thing, and this brick right here represents the actual body of the car. So when it's on the ground, it sits down like this. And then whenever the car leaves the ground, then this pops up. And this is really hard to get right, but I think I finally got it. So that every time it goes back down, then the glider goes back down, and every time it leaves the ground, then the glider goes up. So if we just put this on the back of the car right now, then you can see that it goes down, and then when it leaves the ground, it pops up. And yeah, I didn't secure it on very well. It was just temporarily there. But yeah, you can kind of see how small the glider is gonna be compared to the car. And that's just the way it's gonna have to be because Lego doesn't make a bigger glider piece like this. But yeah, let's build this into the car. All right, I think I got it set up so when the car lifts off, then it goes up, and then when it comes down, and it works like every time, and it's really strong on there, so it shouldn't break off. The only issue is that with it being so tall, it jiggles a little bit like that, like it taps it multiple times, but I think it's fine. So yeah, now that's figured out, and it'll look really cool hopefully when it's done. And I love that feature, how it just pops up whenever the car goes off a jump or something like it would in Mario Kart. So now let's work on building the other two features. So one of the features I'm gonna add is these stud shooters, but instead of manually shooting them, we're gonna have it remote control shoot them. So the first thing we need to do is replace the stud shooter from the minifigure one that has the handle to a brick built one so we can actually build stuff around it. And since this set has a green shell and a red shell, we might as well have it shoot both. I'm gonna have a motor that pushes these down, so I need something that'll hang off of it and push them. My only concern with this is that these things are kind of hard to push down, and I don't know if the motor is going to be strong enough. It doesn't have enough strength. It's like almost there. You can see them get pushed out, but it's not going out. So I think what we're going to need to do is some gear ratios to get this thing stronger. Still not doing it. What? Okay, I'm realizing while editing this that I actually did put those gears the wrong way, so it didn't have much torque to actually push those down. So maybe if I did it the other way, it would have worked, but I eventually figured it out. Hey, here we go. Moment of truth to see if it's strong enough. Oh, bro, I'm gonna break a piece. That noise was not good. Well, after a bunch of trial and error, I think I finally found something. So I had to take the bottoms off of these shells, and then I replaced them with these Lego bracket pieces. And then I used normal stud shooters down here. And then they shoot pretty well, not as well as these ones, but still pretty far. And the motor can shoot them perfectly. So I just got to incorporate this into the car. Well, this actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting. You can see I have the motor upside down because that's the only way it would fit with the servo motor underneath it. But the piece it actually moves is right here, and then it's just really simple, and they actually launch decently far, and then it also looks pretty sleek up front. So I'm glad I finally did that. That took a lot more work than I thought it would be, but at least we got it working. So the next feature is going to be dropping bananas. So since this mechanism is going to be so easy to drop these, I realized that instead of using a huge motor like this, you can just use the smallest motor that Lego makes. It's from the older Lego 9-volt era, and they're really expensive, but I can put it on this Lego plate that looks a little suspicious. As you can probably tell, there's little metal contacts that go through it. So I can put it on there, and then we can attach a power functions to 9-volt adapter and put that on here, and we can get it spin. It's kind of hard to tell, but it is spinning. So then all we really need to do is mount this to the side and make a little like dipping mechanism so it drops some. So let's do it. Well, luckily, because that was such a small motor, it was actually super easy to put on. I actually was able to fit it on the back. So to load it, I just put the bananas in, and then I just drop it. Boom. And if you're wondering if it works if you accidentally make it go backwards, it also does work. I made sure it worked both ways, so you don't have to worry about which way you turn it. So now that we got all the features done, we can finally start making this thing look good, because right now it's just a big car. I literally just realized that my mic has been unplugged for like a lot of this video, so I'm putting it back on now so you can finally get good audio. I did not realize that. So since the actual Mario Kart has yellow rims for the tires and mine are gray and black, I thought about it and I actually do have certain rims in yellow. So I'm gonna take the yellow rims out of these and put them in these front wheels, and then we can also decorate these back wheels and put some yellow in it to hopefully look somewhat close to this. So So now we got the yellow tires on the front, and I don't have these gray back rims in yellow. So what we're gonna do is make the inner bit yellow. So I can get these Technic pins and then put a yellow stud on top of it, and then just put 6 of those in there. And then we can put the tire back on the car, and then we can cover up the very center gray part with just a plate, because it has an axle hole. And there we go. It kind of looks like a star. So now let's do the same thing for the other tire. And there we go, we got yellow tires, kinda. I just remembered that this set exists, which is $170, but it's literally in the exact same scale I'm making it. It even uses the exact same wheels that I'm using, so I must have good proportions. Yeah, this will make the build a lot easier, but I'm not paying $170 for that. We're gonna build our own. All right, got the thrusters for the back done. And now let's build up down here so we can add a base for Mario to sit on. All right, well, I built up a lot more than just the floor right here. I built this whole front thing, and I did make the motor up here into the engine, because why not? It looks cool, and it's already upside down, so I added a bunch of those pieces so it looks like an engine now. And the sides are kind of blocky right now. I'll have to iron that out later. But I got the base up to the right height for Mario to actually sit on it, which means we need to steal a tile from this, which is gonna be quite hard, actually. There we go. Well, I think I got it back together, but now we can get this tile and stick it right there on our car. Not gonna lie, this tile gives me PTSD of my Lego Mario video. I ordered like 300 of them, so I have quite a few, but none of the Mario Kart ones. So now I'm just gonna build the rest of this up and make it actually look good, add a little thing up front. I don't know what you call that. Bumper is the right word, I think. And also make the sides so they're not as blocky, and then we should be good, and this thing should look awesome. It's already looking cool. Come on, look at that engine in the back. Is this the engine or is this the engine? I don't know. Maybe both are engines. Yeah, let's build this. Well, the car is done, so now let's upgrade the controller a little bit. So on the bigger controller, to make the circles way easier to turn, I can just put gears on there, and then it's way easier to grip. And then for this one, I can literally just put a peg in there, and it's way easier to move. But this last one is actually used for steering, so I want to do something cool for it. And after all of that, we can put a little wheel on top. I'm actually gonna have to change it up a little bit. This L piece is too high for that. Okay, I think I can pretty easily just flip this to be facing the other way, and it should work. And boom, there we go. We can put this wheel down, and then we can steer it with an actual wheel, but then it just transfers that movement to this. So it's way easier to control a car with this. And shout out to this dude for the design of this steering thing. Well, here is Mario's ultimate kart. We got 2 massive thrusters and an engine just shooting out fire. And then we got Mario's spot right here. If you hear car noises, it's from Mario. And then I also made this an engine, which actually looks really good with that upside down motor, surprisingly. We got our shells for ammo up here. And then I added headlights up front. It's kind of giving me Jeep vibes. And then underneath everything is a bunch of cool features. It can launch 2 shells. It can also drop bananas, and a working glider that only pops up when you leave the ground. When you touch the ground again, it goes back down. But yeah, I don't really think this small of a glider would do much for this big of a kart. And of course, the car drives. Kinda. The steering is in reverse of what I'm doing, so I can switch this little thing and then, yeah, now it goes the right way. There actually is one problem with this. You can probably hear those gears slipping. And that's because with this curvature I added right here, it actually gets in the way of the full movement of it, so it stops the tire right there, which then also slows down the car because the tire can't roll. And that stopping makes the gear slip, but it still works pretty well. Yeah. But comparing this to the original kart, the upgraded one is so much better. Let's try running it on the floor. I'm actually gonna take off these little curvy pieces up front though, so we can actually steer fully. Actually, removing those actually might cause more issues because now it hits the front bumper. Whatever, I guess we'll find out. All right, here we go. Power and then steer. The tires are definitely slowing down from it hitting the bumper. Just to show you guys that it does actually work pretty well without that stuff hitting it, I'll remove the bumper. So now it'll drive just fine without slowing down. As you can see, and we can max this thing out too and zoom. So now if we want to drop the bananas, we can do this. And then if we want to shoot the shells, boom, there's one, boom, there's the other. Actually, that's kind of cool. And then if we go off a jump, which I'm not gonna do because it'll probably break, but the glider will pop up. Well, this actually turned out really well, a lot better than I thought it would. The only issue with it really is the steering. But with all its cool features and stuff, Lego needs to make something like this. I have a link to a playlist with all of my Lego Mario videos up here and down in the description. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, but as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. So actually, before we build anything else, I need to figure out where I'm going to place this battery. Bruh, I just recorded like 2 clips and I realized I wasn't even recording. We're in picture mode, dang it. Oh. But I think in proportions, actually, these ones will look better along with these back ones. Oh, would they? You know, I never thought it would be this hard to do this. How did I do this the first time? There we go. Now just pretend like that never happened. Fire. Where's me fire bag? I have a bag full of fire somewhere. Somewhere. Where are you, fire? Where are you when I need you? Fire. Bro, where actually is my fire bag? See that? See that, bro?